Are you the kind of person who proudly buys luxury brands, or the kind who refuses to spend a dime on them? In this video, we are diving into the fascinating psychology of both sides by looking at 15 types of people who buy luxury brands and 15 types who absolutely don't. And by the end, you'll not only recognize yourself or people you know, but also gain powerful insight into what luxury really means in our culture. The first type of person who buys luxury brands is the status seeker, someone who equates owning a Gucci belt or a Mercedes with instant elevation of social standing, because these items act like shorthand for success. And studies have shown that for many in emerging economies, luxury consumption is driven not by quality, but by the public recognition that comes with visible logos. In sharp contrast, the first type of person who doesn't buy luxury brands is the practical minimalist, someone who views paying thousands for a handbag as irrational when a durable, functional bag from a non-luxury label does the job. And this type often prides themselves on rejecting what they see as the wastefulness of excess consumption. The second type of person who buys luxury is the heritage appreciator, drawn to names like Hermès or Patek Philippe, not because of flashy logos, but because of the centuries of craftsmanship behind them. And these buyers often talk about legacy, tradition, and artistry, even seeing themselves as curators of culture rather than just consumers. Opposite to them is the anti-consumerist rebel, the person who consciously avoids luxury because they reject the consumerist culture it represents, often opting for thrifted clothes or indie brands as a way of signaling independence and disdain for corporate manipulation. The third type of luxury buyer is the aspirational climber, often middle class, stretching budgets to buy a single Louis Vuitton wallet or Burberry scarf because it feels like a ticket into a higher class. And interestingly, research shows that aspirational buyers make up a huge share of luxury revenue in markets like China and India. On the non-buyer side, we find the frugal investor, someone who would rather put their money into index funds, real estate, or even cryptocurrency than in depreciating consumer goods. And to them, luxury purchases are opportunity costs that rob from future wealth. The fourth type of person who buys luxury is the connoisseur collector, the watch aficionado who hunts rare Rolex references, or the bag collector who chases limited edition Chanel releases. And for them, luxury is more than consumption. It is a sport of expertise and exclusivity. In opposition stands the quality over name buyer, someone who seeks excellent materials or durability, but doesn't care about brand prestige, often buying from lesser-known ateliers or technical gear companies that outperform luxury at a fraction of the cost. The fifth type of luxury buyer is the experiential flaunter who uses luxury goods as tools for social media, Instagram reels, or YouTube flexes. And in today's influencer-driven economy, this type drives millions in sales because the unboxing moment has become a cultural ritual. Meanwhile, the invisible wealth holder avoids luxury precisely because they already have wealth and have no need to prove it, subscribing instead to stealth wealth or quiet luxury, favoring anonymity over ostentation. And ironically, many billionaires fall into this camp. The sixth type of luxury buyer is the reward seeker, who tells themselves after a promotion, a major deal, or a milestone birthday that they deserve a new Dior bag or a Tesla, turning luxury into a form of self-validation tied to life events. The counterpoint is the Stoic simplifier, inspired by philosophy or spirituality, who feels that material goods cannot bring fulfillment and deliberately avoids luxury to align with deeper values, sometimes referencing figures like Marcus Aurelius or Gandhi as guiding examples. The seventh type of luxury buyer is the cultural participant, who sees luxury as part of belonging to an elite social circle where everyone wears Prada shoes or carries Cartier jewelry. and they buy to maintain inclusion in these networks of prestige. Conversely, the community-focused giver channels resources into family, philanthropy, or local causes instead of into luxury goods, feeling that identity is defined by generosity rather than possession. The eighth type of luxury buyer is the trend chaser, who doesn't necessarily care about heritage, but buys whatever celebrities or rappers are flaunting in the moment, such as Balenciaga sneakers or off-white collaborations, and luxury houses now actively court this group. Against them stands the individualist non-conformist who avoids luxury, specifically to carve their own path, often preferring unique custom designs or streetwear, rejecting what they see as herd mentality tied to luxury labels. The ninth type of luxury buyer is the investor mindset consumer, who buys rare handbags or watches as alternative assets, knowing that certain Hermes Birkin bags or limited Audemars Piguet models appreciate over time, making luxury part of a portfolio. The ninth non-buyer is the digital native realist, younger consumers who spend more on digital goods, gaming, or experiences than on material luxury, and who see no point in expensive clothes when identity is shaped online rather than on the street. The 10th type of luxury buyer is the nostalgic traditionalist who buys Ralph Lauren, Brooks Brothers, or other established brands because of a sense of family tradition or cultural continuity, seeing these items as symbols of heritage. The opposing non-buyer is the generational skeptic, often younger, who sees luxury brands as outdated or disconnected from modern values like sustainability, inclusivity, and digital-first culture, and thus avoids them entirely. The 11th type of luxury buyer is the global traveler, who purchases duty-free Chanel perfume, Montblanc pens, or Rimowa luggage as tokens of travel, with airports being some of the highest-performing luxury retail spaces worldwide. The opposing non-buyer is the travel light adventurer, who intentionally packs minimalist gear, spends on experiences like hiking or local food, and avoids luxury because it feels burdensome and unnecessary to their lifestyle. The 12th type of luxury buyer is the sentimental purchaser, someone who buys luxury to commemorate weddings, anniversaries, or family legacies, often engraving jewelry or passing down watches as heirlooms. The 12th non-buyer is the family-first saver, who prioritizes children's education, mortgages, or health care over luxury consumption, believing that long-term security beats short-term indulgence. The 13th type of luxury buyer is the high-risk show-off, who buys on credit, leasing luxury cars or financing designer items just to maintain appearances, and luxury brands profit heavily from this fragile but aspirational segment. The 13th non-buyer is the debt-averse planner, who avoids luxury specifically to stay free from financial burdens, and often views luxury shoppers as reckless or irresponsible. The 14th type of luxury buyer is the national pride consumer, who supports brands from their home country, such as Italians preferring Gucci or French consumers preferring Louis Vuitton, seeing luxury as cultural patriotism. The contrasting non-buyer is the local artisan supporter who spends on independent craftspeople, regional designers, or sustainable makers, rejecting multinational luxury conglomerates like LVMH in favor of authentic local creation. Finally, the 15th type of luxury buyer is the wealth legacy builder, who sees luxury as a means of leaving behind tangible symbols of success for heirs, buying objects that carry symbolic weight of power and continuity. The 15th non-buyer is the legacy through values advocate, who believes true inheritance is knowledge, ethics, or education, not handbags or watches, and who therefore rejects luxury as shallow compared to passing down wisdom and integrity. And so, when you put it all together, the world of luxury is not simply about objects but about psychology, values, and identity, with some people buying to display, commemorate, or invest, while others abstain to save, rebel, or prioritize deeper life goals. And this duality reveals not only how culture shapes consumption, but how consumption shapes culture itself. The key takeaway is this: luxury is never neutral. It always says something, whether you embrace it or avoid it, and knowing where you stand is a mirror into your values and ambitions. If you found yourself in one of these categories or learned something surprising about why people do or don't buy luxury, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into culture and luxury. Drop a comment sharing which type you identify with or what experiences you've had with luxury. And share this video with a friend who will definitely recognize themselves somewhere in these 30 portraits of modern consumer identity.